You're terrified of dying. It's written all over your face, burned into those wide eyes staring at this screen. You're scared to death of that moment when the breath stops and the curtain falls. You spend your entire life calculating, protecting, hoarding, desperately hoping to outsmart fate. But stay still. Listen to an old man who has crossed the shadow line and looked it in the face more than once. Death isn't the worst thing that can happen to you. Death is nature. It's the earth peacefully reclaiming what it lent you. The real tragedy, the black horror, the thing that should make your heart hammer against your ribs at night, is waking up at 80 years old, lying in a bed, and realizing all at once that you were never really born. It's realizing you were just a walking corpse, consuming oxygen, paying bills, and getting by, mistaking the deafening noise of the world for a life. You look at me here, in this cracked stone house, in the middle of this isolated valley where there's nothing but the cold wind and trees that breathe with infinite patience. You think I was born this way. You think this is just a wise old man, someone who's always chewed on slow living and philosophy. You're dead wrong. I'm telling you this with my heart in my hand. Until 20 years ago, I was worse than you. I was a rabid dog. I had a chemical, inexhaustible hunger for conquest. I slammed the door on the people who loved me and went to cut throats with the wolves in the big cities. And I won. I built an empire from nothing. Money, skyscrapers, respect chained to fear. When I walked by, people looked down. I was the king of the grind, the one who never slept, the one who was billing while everyone else was still turning over in bed. They sold us that massive lie, that colossal scam, that you're only a real man if you produce, if you hold the world in your fist, if your bank account has enough zeros to make your head spin. And I bought it. I paid for that lie with my own blood. I remember one night specifically, New York City, a cold that cracked your bones. I was in my penthouse, a glass box suspended over the city. I had just signed the biggest, most ruthless merger of my life. There were lawyers, bankers, guys in suits that cost more than the house I grew up in. Everyone was raising glasses of French champagne, slapping me on the back, calling me a genius, a visionary. But as I looked at those flickering lights down on the street, I felt a sudden chill crawl from my feet to my throat. It wasn't the cold outside. It was a vacuum, so black, so deep, so absolute that it physically took my breath away. In that exact moment, crystal glass in hand, I understood the tragedy. I had won everything there was to win, and yet I had lost the only thing that mattered. I had sold my soul to buy a cardboard throne. I had become the richest ghost in the graveyard. I looked at the fake smiles of those people, and all I could smell was the scent of time wasted chasing the wind. But there is something I discovered only in the last decade, something that completely flips everything I just told you about this void and about success. I'll reveal it to you in a moment. Before we get there, you need to look in the mirror and figure out where you're bleeding right now. The first deep cut, the one that's draining you without you even noticing, is this God-forsaken obsession you have with time. Let's stop playing philosopher. Let's talk about real things. Let's talk about that $10,000 watch on your wrist, or that phone screen you compulsively check every 3 minutes. You think you're measuring time. You think you're managing it, taming it. Instead, it's eating you alive. You're always out of breath. You race in your car, you honk the horn, You curse at anyone going slow. You eat a sandwich standing up while replying to 3 different emails, always thinking about tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll fix this. This weekend I'll rest. Next year I'll take a vacation and finally breathe. Tomorrow is a scam. Nobody guaranteed you tomorrow in a contract. You are throwing away the flesh and blood of today, the only moment your hands can actually touch life, for a future that is nothing but smoke. Real time isn't the clock. It isn't the thing that goes tick-tock and gives you deadline anxiety. Real time, the kind that fills your lungs, is only felt when you stop. It's when you sit outside at night and smell the heavy scent of wet earth after the rain. It's when you watch the fire in the hearth and your mind, finally, goes silent. In those moments, time isn't running away anymore. It isn't chasing you down to cut your throat. Time stops. It simply is, and you are with it. You can't put this kind of time in a bank. It doesn't generate interest. You can only live it if you have the courage to unplug that brain that's always spinning its wheels. As long as you keep running toward the next imaginary deadline, you will always be tragically late for your own life. And then there's the bitter blood of relationships. We humans are infected with pride. We walk this earth puffed up and stiff, convinced we have an eternity at our disposal. How many words are you choking back right now? How many I'm sorries, how many I love yous do you suffocate because you're terrified of looking weak? We entrench ourselves behind walls of emotional silence. We always think, I'll do it tomorrow. Sooner or later we'll make up. They have to make the first move, not me. I'm right. You poor fools, stabbed in the back by your own egos. Relationships, the real ones, the ones that keep you upright when the hurricane tries to blow you down, almost never die from big, treacherous betrayals. They die of thirst. They die from years of silence, from neglect, from the unsaid words that rot in your stomach and turn into a lethal poison. I had a friend, a real brother. We grew up together, scraped knees, sharing everything we didn't have. Then, over some money, some ruthless business, a stupid and poisonous argument, we turned our backs on each other. I was the big boss. I couldn't stoop to calling him. 8 years of ice. 8 years where every time I picked up the phone, my ego blocked my hand. Then, early one morning, my cell rings. It was his wife. Her voice was a thread. There was nothing left to say, nothing to clear up. He had passed away in his sleep. In that moment, I realized my entire empire of bliss wasn't worth a milligram of that silence. The weight of that missed hug is a lead cross I carry every time I get out of bed. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Throw away your pride. Be awkward, be ridiculous, cry, but speak. Open your mouth and speak now, because the wood of a coffin doesn't have ears to hear your apologies. But there is something I discovered only in the last decade, something that flips everything I just told you about regrets and forgiveness. A fierce secret. I'll tell you right now. But first, you have to look the real monster in the eye, the one that makes your legs shake and that you've been running from since the day you were born. Pain. We live in a society of the anesthetized, of distraction addicts. The moment we feel a sting of suffering, physical or in the soul, we run like terrified rabbits. We buy meds, we buy fast cars, we buy designer clothes. We gorge on food that tastes like nothing. We cling to the bottle. We spend our nights scrolling through these glowing screens to turn off our brains so we don't have to hear that voice inside screaming that we are miserable. Running from pain is the most ruthless life sentence you can give yourself. If you turn your back on pain and start running, it chases you, and it becomes massive. It becomes a giant shadow that darkens your entire existence. But if you stop, if you have the courage to plant your feet and look it right in the eye, at first it burns, it flays you alive. But then something miraculous happens. It deflates. It becomes a teacher, a harsh, ruthless, but deeply honest teacher. Pain is only telling you where you need to clean. It points to the exact infection in your soul. Don't pretend to be made of iron. The ones who are always smiling, the unbeatable ones, the ones who are positive at all costs, they're made of glass. One tiny disappointment and they shatter into 1,000 pieces. Be made of flesh. Be anti-fragile. Let life hit you. Let it leave scars. Cry, scream, punch the wall, but stay in it. Stay in the pain. Because it's only when you've made space by bravely enduring that storm that the light can finally get in. And when that light enters, it shows you with painful clarity how stupid you were to complicate everything. We come to the point that for me was like an open-handed slap to the face: simplicity. We've walled ourselves alive in labyrinths of needs that don't exist. We think we need MBAs, complex strategies, miracle diets, offshore accounts, luxury resorts. The truth is raw, and because of that, it's disarmingly beautiful. Real wealth isn't being able to buy the whole world. Absolute wealth, the wealth of kings, is waking up in the morning, looking out the window, and needing nothing. It's not wanting to be anywhere else but exactly, perfectly where you are. I traded massive ballrooms for this uneven wooden floor. I traded Michelin-starred restaurants where I ate tasteless works of art for a hunk of stale bread and a tomato that tastes like the actual sun. And I swear to you on everything I hold dear that the ice-cold water I drank from the spring out here has a flavor, an absolute power that all the champagne in New York, London, and Paris combined never even touched. Subtract, strip away, throw out the dead weight. Fewer useless objects, fewer fake friendships of convenience, fewer commitments made just to look important to people who don't love you. Scrape it all away until you get to the bone. When you're left naked in the middle of nowhere, you'll realize you aren't gasping for air. Quite the opposite. You'll start breathing for the very first time. But there is something I discovered only in the last decade, something that flips even this mystical talk about simplicity and stripping everything away. The final revelation, the missing piece of the machine. I'm telling you now because the time has come. I've talked to you a lot about sacrifice, about fighting the noise, about removing the superficial. But the truth, the naked, shocking truth that hit me in the face after I turned 80, is that deep down, there is nothing to fight. There is no secret finish line. There is no final enlightenment waiting for you on top of some magic mountain to make you perfect. This whole race Even the race to become wiser or more detached is an illusion. You are already whole, now, in this exact tiny moment. There is no future version of you, richer, wiser, or more fixed, that is going to take your place and save you. There is only this absolute present, this second where my gravelly voice enters your ears. If you can't find beauty, that piercing beauty that makes your heart explode, in the banality of this exact moment, with all your anxieties intact, your failures and your fears, you will never find it in any New York penthouse or any silent, remote monastery. Stay still. Look at your hands. Feel how the air in your room, cold or warm, enters your lungs and keeps you alive without asking for a dime in return. Feel the weight of your body on the chair, the force of gravity anchoring you to the earth. There is a sun out there that, even if it's covered by gray clouds, is burning millions of miles away to warm this planet. There is a heart in your chest, beating and pumping blood non-stop. A heroic, stubborn muscle fighting for you every single second without ever asking for a break. This whole screaming, blatant obviousness is a miracle so big that we've blindfolded ourselves just to avoid seeing it, just so we can keep complaining about daily nonsense. Life isn't a math equation for you to solve. It isn't a broken machine for you to fix. It is a wild, visceral mystery. It's blinding sun, it's cold rain, it's mud and sweat. You have to bite into it. You have to get dirty. Don't let it slide off you like water off a raincoat. Get naked. Stand bare under the storm. Break that boring, predictable, safe script that society wrote for you to keep you tame, to keep you producing and consuming in silence until the grave. Become the absolute master of your own breath. Accept that tomorrow morning we might close our eyes forever, and because of that tragic fragility, love this single day with an unholy ferocity. I'm not asking you to follow me. I don't want to be anyone's guru. My life has been littered with unforgivable mistakes, and I have nothing to teach anyone. I don't give a damn about your applause. I've already had it, and I know perfectly well it tastes like cold ash. I'm only asking you for one thing. One thing for you, for your blood, and for your soul. And I'm asking you now. Leave a promise here in black and white. I don't want to read some pretty motivational quote copied from a book to make you look good to others. I want a raw promise, a bloody one. Make a pact of honor with yourself right here in front of everyone. Write down the one thing you are going to stop running from starting today. What is the demon you've decided to look right in the eye before it gets dark? Carve it here. And then I'm asking you, please, turn off this screen. Stand up, walk out that door, and go claim your life.